Hello everyone, my name is Cathy. I'm a friend of Haley's. Haley and I have been friends for several years now, and she asked me to speak at this event. I had to be at work tonight, so I made this video instead. First, a little bit about me. I've been a Christian since I was 5 years old. I got saved at a church event, and a lady gave an invitation, and after hearing the gospel I was like, wow, I need Jesus. So, got that taken care of right away. I have been in the ministry since I was 13 years old. I started attending a camp called Christian Youth in Action where they train teens to go out and reach children in the area with the gospel. And I've been very, very active in that for years. I'm actually going back to camp as a staffer this year. I am a nurse. I graduated in 2014 with my RN, and I've been working at Mercy Hospital ever since. And I'm now have re-enrolled back at one of the local colleges, and I'm taking some business courses, so that's very exciting. I got connected with Revive Our Hearts through Haley and a mutual friend of ours, Cherie. I would always see things on Facebook about things they were doing with the ministry. They would post talks from Nancy or blogs from the other ladies who work there. And I started getting into it and reading and seeing what they were doing. And it was all of a sudden very biblically based. Almost everything that I was hearing was right on track with what I believed. And they were also, it was just a very exciting thing to be a part of because they have such a passion for reaching women in America and all around the world, really. They've just started up something new down south, which is really, really awesome to hear about. You should ask Haley for more information about that. I decided to go to Revive Our Hearts 2015, this last year in September. I had been having a very hard time spiritually. I hadn't been connected with a church for more than a year because of school and other commitments. And I was starting to feel a very negative influence from not having the church in my life. And I felt like I needed some way of getting back involved, and Revive Our Hearts seemed like a good thing to do. The theme was women teaching women, and while I am not a teacher in the church, I'm not a pastor's wife, I don't teach any of the kids at my church now, I definitely feel like I am a leader among my friends, and I felt like the things that I would learn there would teach me a lot. Revive 2015 was a very, very emotionally charged experience. There was so much crying. A big part of why it was so emotional for me is because I needed the emotion, oddly enough. I had been having a problem the past few years starting in college where I had found myself locking out from other people, not listening to what other people were saying. It started just because I was trying to keep myself from being influenced by worldly views at my college and sometimes in my workplace, but it got so bad it even came into my spiritual life where I couldn't even listen to people like pastors and my close friends anymore. It was a very hard problem. I went to one of the early morning prayer services, and it was just a very small, there was, oh goodness, I don't know how many hundreds of women there, and there was about, I think, 50 of us in this prayer meeting early Saturday morning. And they started off the time by saying, we're going to open the floor, and anybody who feels like they have a verse to share, please stand up and share it. And it was so wonderful because, number one, you got to hear women speaking what God was speaking to their hearts, which was wonderful. Number two, because participating in the church was very important for me because I just don't participate anymore. Believe it or not, it was a very big hurdle for me to get over, and I was able to stand up and share what I felt God was impressing upon my heart to share with others. And third, because one of the women there was used by God to speak into my heart and to help fix that hardness of heart that I had. I actually want to share with you the verse that she shared with me. It's in Ezekiel 36, and he says, I will take you from the nations and gather you from all the countries and bring you into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your uncleanness and from all your idols. I will cleanse you. And I will give you a new heart, and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh, and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and be careful to obey my rules. Hearing that in this time when I was right in the middle of all this, I was struggling and struggling and struggling to find my voice, to speak among God's people, which was just incredibly hard for me to do. And then to hear somebody else say something that opened up my heart. Oh my goodness, I started crying. I cried so much that morning. It was a wonderful, humbling, opening, reviving experience for me. And I did feel that that weekend God was able to finally take away my heart of stone, and open me up to listening to others once again. So that's been a wonderfully freeing experience for me. The main sessions were wonderful. The teachers that we had listening to Nancy was amazing. We had so many good sessions where they were just reminding us of the importance of paying attention to what God was saying, putting time into the Word, and making sure that you're preaching the Word. One of the first things that we heard in the main session was, as a teacher, you are held to a higher standard. God expects you to hold a higher standard because you are teaching others, and if you get this wrong, you're going to be responsible for that. So that was a very sobering thought, and I felt it gave a sense of levity to everything that was happening for the rest of the weekend, so that was good. But there was such warmth and companionship there among women who did not know each other at all. I had a, you could say, family situation come up right in the middle of this conference, and it was something that I felt would be destructive to a family, and it had me up early in the morning, and I was worrying and wondering about what was going to happen with the situation, how God could make it all work out for His glory. I just did not see any good coming from it. And right in the middle of one of the sessions, we had taken a break, everybody was singing, we were having some worship time, and I had this lady I didn't even know come up to me, and she said, God has something that He wants me to tell you. And I was like, I am not one of those people who does things like that, like, God has a word for you, you know. But I was like, but I'm not going to stop this either. So I said, okay, tell it to me. And she said something, and I didn't hear what it was. And I just sat there for a moment, because I was like, I don't listen to people telling me they have a word from God. I just don't. That's just not. And then, but another part of me was like, you need to hear what this woman said, because she felt that it was important. And I turned around to that woman again. I'm sure I surprised her, and I said, please tell me that again. And what she told me was something that applied specifically to my situation, to what was going to be happening. It wasn't prophetic in any sense, but it was just God reminding me, I am here. I know what's going on, and I have a plan. And so that was also wonderful for me to be able to participate. It taught me that I don't have to do what other people do to serve God, to worship God, but I shouldn't negate that either. I shouldn't just ignore it just because it's not something I would do. And so that was also very important, and tied into hardness of heart and being able to listen to others. So the whole weekend was an amazing, amazing experience that opened up so much for me. And even now I'm still feeling the impact. It has opened up my heart again to the scriptures. I started going to a church finally again. I'm beginning to appreciate the truths of God's Word even more than I have before. He's just really led me into a wonderful time right now where I can study His Word and get involved in it and then be able to pour it out into others. So Revive has really made a difference on my life so far, and I hope that you will all be able to experience this difference soon in your own lives. Thank you all for listening to my too long video, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.